everybody. My name is Jan Nappage. I am with the University of Kentucky's Nutrition Education Program, and I am their food system specialist. And with me today is Jackie Walters, Extension Specialist for Nutrition, and Michele West, our Marketing and Media Specialist. And today we're going to talk to you about our new Kentucky Farm to School Hub website that just launched this fall. And we're really excited to be invited to share it at a pre-conference session at Oak this year. So thank you for having us. And just a slight background before I hand it over to Jackie is we've been working on the background of this website since 2019, actually early 2019. We started having discussions with both producers and food service directors to understand what current challenges folks were facing when trying to implement farm to school and gauge what we could do within NEP to help make those challenges obsolete, or at least make things just a little bit easier. And so through these discussions and a partnership with the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, we were able to bring you all this website. So we're extremely excited to share with you today what it entails and what it offers folks. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Jackie.
Hi, everybody. So we spoke separately with producers and food service directors, and also included some agriculture and natural resources extension agents in our conversations to try to better understand what were some barriers that producers ran into in selling locally to schools. And so the things that we have listed here on this slide are the most frequent answers that we got. Not understanding the need for what GAP was in the process of turning over to produce best practices training. Knowing what they needed to do with regard to training was one thing that they mentioned. Simply knowing who to reach out to. They didn't know how to locate the person who's responsible for the purchasing and planning for school meals. Making sure that schools understood the seasonality of produce, how long things would keep, what's in storage now, how old it is, and just understanding about storage and distribution issues and getting those kinds of issues coordinated between the kitchen and the producer was one of the daunting things. Some people cited a lack of support from school administration. And we also heard that schools lack manpower to produce or to process fresh produce. If they have been just using canned or frozen squash and they order a bunch of fresh squash, they may not be very familiar with how to process that, without making it into mush, how long it's going to hold on the steam table and that kind of thing. So the other thing is just that not only do producers not know who to reach out to, they don't know what the school needs when they're planning for the growing season. So we asked producers, well, if there was just one thing that you would really like food service directors or child nutrition administrators to know, what would that be? And some of the responses that we got are, well, you have to think of using food in different ways than you have traditionally used produce in particular. And you might have more success buying items that keep, such as root vegetables. Summer feeding is a good place to start buying from local producers. It's quick turnover, and it's during the summer when farmers are actually producing. The Kentucky Vegetable Incentive Program is a good tool to use. And you need to let farmers know ahead of time what the school needs so that it can be planned for. So we asked, well, if there was just one resource that we could provide that would help, what would it be? And the bottom line is some way to communicate and coordinate. And in these days, a website is the most straightforward and common way to do that. But if there were a website where the child nutrition administrators could request particular farm products and tell you, do they need it to be processed, you know, what specifications they need. Producers would really love it if child nutrition administrators could tell them what they're willing to pay so that they know up front if it's worth their time. Unfortunately, with the bid process that schools are required to use, that's not something that they can do. But we can provide some information to producers about what is a reasonable bid so that they can figure out if they can compete. By looking at this website, if farmers could tell whether they can process it and if they could access marketing resources. We heard that those would be very beneficial things. So then we did the same thing with school food service directors. We asked them pretty much the same questions, and the graph that you see here lists the barriers or challenges that they told us about from most often mentioned to least often mentioned. So their number one issue was that they don't know how to find what they need locally. So again, it's just that being aware of one another. Then they said paperwork. The paperwork required in the bidding process and everything can be arduous, and they would like help with that. They said small producers are unable to meet all of their needs. Well, in fact, they don't have to buy everything. If, you know, they don't have to buy all their apples from a local producer. They can buy some, whatever they can get locally, and then buy the rest through, you know, established distributors. Manpower and time was listed. It takes more time to pair something and than it does to get it from the distributor already paired and taken care of. There's the perception that local foods cost more. And then pretty much at a dead heat there at the end were concerns about delivery and distribution, lack of knowledge about fresh things, which we talked about before, the writing specs, making sure that they get consistent quality, and then payment issues, because buying, purchasing for a school district is not the same as purchasing for a restaurant or a local grocery store. And then lastly, marketing. So we asked them, what would you like farmers to know? If you could just tell them one thing, what do you think would be the most important thing? And the first thing, or the thing most often mentioned, was that they have to have consistency in quality and affordability. They need to know that they're going to get pretty much the same product every time and how much it's going to cost. Also, seasonal planning. They do understand that the farming process is seasonal and their menus are seasonal as well. So there has to be, you know, coordination there. They wanted producers to know that the purchasing process is different for school food service, but that they're trying and they're getting better at it. And then delivery and sanitation concerns were mentioned. And again, the sanitation training, wanting to know if people had had the PBPT course or not, and if producers had insurance necessary to cover them to work with schools. So we said, well, you know, what kind of resource could we provide that would make it easier for you all to overcome these challenges? And again, they said a communication tool, a website to have all of this info in place would be something that would link them with farmers in the area by providing information about the farmers and helping them to communicate these things. And some other things that the website could produce in addition to communication with the producers was things to make the procurement process easier, training videos for, you know, how do I process some of this fresh produce, a medium for communicating with other CNAs who are doing farm to school programs and find out, get advice from them as well as from producers. Marketing tools that they could download and customize, information about storing and preparing fresh produce, and technical assistance for the farmers with the bid process. So here is the Kentucky Farm to School Hub website. We put it together to try to address as many of these obstacles and to provide as many of the advantages as possible from what producers and school food service purchasers told us they needed. So it's free statewide, and its purpose is to help producers and school food service purchasers locate one another and communicate with one another effectively, to provide the most reliable information and resources to both producers and school food service purchasers, and ultimately to increase the amount of Kentucky grown and produced foods on school lunch trays. So the hub offers farmers and food service directors the opportunity to post profiles of their operations and list the products and services that they can produce or that they want to buy, and also to access resources for planning, funding, procuring, selling, marketing, preparing, and serving Kentucky foods to Kentucky school children. So when a producer logs on to the Farm to School website, they see this group of options in the beginning for getting started. And the first thing that they want to do is to register. So these are all things that there are fields for in the registration process. A producer does not have to fill every field in order to register in advance. For instance, if you don't have an email, then it doesn't mean that you can't sell. It just means that people have to contact you, say, by your telephone number or whatever. There was some in the piloting process, there was some concern indicated by people that there were fields for certifications and insurance. If you do not have any certifications and insurance, it doesn't mean that you can't sell to the schools. It just means that when school food service directors and purchasers are looking around, they see having those things as being ready to go. So it might be a selling point there. You don't have to be willing to offer other services like farm tours or coming to the classroom to talk about farming or any of those things. Again, it's just possible that a school food service director might get on the site looking for that particular thing, and that would help them to locate a producer who can do that for them. So in addition to being able to find schools and school food service directors that are interested in purchasing what you have to sell, producers can also locate commercial kitchens that can help them process their products into something that is what people have indicated they want to buy. And it will help them find food hubs and food auctions in the state. Under the selling tab or button, producers can find all kinds of information about the selling process. And here is where, if you want to know what to bid, or if it makes sense for you to bid on a product, there are links to national average costs and a link to the UK Center for Crop Diversification price reports. So that can kind of help you figure out, the ballpark where your bid needs to be to compete. The Kentucky Proud application is available there, and all kinds of information about how the purchasing systems work in schools, and that kind of thing. So likewise, when school nutrition administrators first get on, they will find a series of buttons that allow them to register, to search for producers that are selling the things that they want. They can search by product, they can search by geography, just to find a producer in their area. There's all kinds of information for them about procurement, how to write a bid, how to calculate how much they will need, that kind of thing. There are resources for funding and marketing and safety, and then a contact button to help them to get in touch with the producers that might have what they want to sell, what they want to buy, excuse me. So at this point, I can turn this over to Michele, who will take you for a little walk through the hub and demonstrate part of what it's able to do for you.
Thanks, Jackie. So what I want to do today is just take a few minutes to walk you through the site, walk through creating a producer profile, and then highlight some of the resources and features of the site. So what we'll do is go ahead and I'll share my screen. And we are going to go out to the site. I'm going to enter the URL into my address bar. And it is kyfarmtoschol.com. So it's kyfarmtoschool.com. It brings us up to that welcome and home page. Again, you'll see the welcome, which you saw just a few minutes ago from Jackie. And you'll notice at the top, we've got a login button and a home menu, home, resources for producers, and resources for food service directors. So that menu will be throughout. And then when we scroll on down, you'll see those two areas or pathways. So the first audience that we have are the school food service directors. You scroll on down and you'll see the producers here. And again, you've got the register button, search, selling, resources, and contact. Now you can actually click on the search, selling, resources, contact, and actually get on into the site. You don't necessarily have to be logged in to get to those resources in the search function, but we do want to go ahead and today take a look first at setting up your profile. So we'll go ahead and start with clicking on our register button here and go ahead and create a farm profile. So I'm going to go ahead and click on register. And then you'll see we get to a page that has register as a producer grower, and it's got several parts here that we're going to fill out. And it basically just kind of walks you through step by step. The first thing we'll do is we will add our contact information. So I'm going to put my name. Name of the farm, address, you'll notice that it does have a mapping feature here so that your farm will be pinpointed on the map, and you'll see this when we get to look at the search feature, so the food service directors can easily see where all the farms are. The same thing with the food service directors. They will show up a pin so that you can see easily where they are located. I will go ahead and say that while it's not required that you have all of the information that you'll be asked to complete in this process, the website right now is a little tricky in that it does want all the fields completed. So you can't skip over a field at this point and leave it blank. If you do, you'll get an error. It'll knock you out and have you start over again. So I suggest that rather than leave any of these fields blank for right now, put something in there. If you don't have any information for that particular field, just put an NA for not applicable or none, just something in that field. Again, right now, because it is being very, very picky about wanting something in each of the fields. So again, our contact information, we do need to go ahead and put in a contact phone number here. And this actually will show up on your profile. You will need to have a business email. Again, right now for creating the file or the profile. And you can always just create a Google Gmail account for this purpose if you want. Preferred method of contact. Right now it gives you choice of phone, email, or another method. I'm just going to go ahead and put, I'm actually going to click on email here. You can pick either one or both. And this just will show up on your profile so that folks know the best way to contact you. So I'm going to go ahead and got our basic contact information in there. So I'm going to hit next. And now on part 2 here, it asks for our farm description. So in this information about farm, you can put any kind of text that you want to say about your farm. I'm just going to say, link to a web page. If you have a web page and you want to link to it, you can put that in here. And again, for this one, it will add a hyperlink from your profile to your farm. You do have to enter the full address. You do have to put the HTTP in here, the full thing, so that it will link properly. Certifications, check all that apply. Now, you do not have to check on any of these. You do not have to have any of these in order to sell to schools. But it could be a selling point for some schools or food service directors. They may be looking particularly for someone, you know, who is organic or making sure that you are someone who is GAP certified, Kentucky Proud, etc. So again, it's not, you don't have to have any of these certifications. These are just some of the things that the schools oftentimes look at. And again, we may be tweaking, adding new certifications or making modifications to the data that we're collecting as time goes on. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I am a certified Kentucky Proud. Current liability insurance. If you do not have liability insurance, you can enter 0. I'm just going to go ahead and say that we've got $1 million. What educational services does your farm provide? Again, you can check any that apply to you. You do not have to be willing to do farm visits or host field trips, or do you pick? Again, these are just some things that the schools may be interested in knowing about your farm and what you provide. Willing to visit schools, I'm going to click yes. Welcome field trips, welcome visits from food service directors, willing to serve on school committees or work groups. Others, if you have anything else that you want to add, you can. Again, I nothing comes to mind, but you may have something that you want to share, and you can put that in right there. So next, we're at part 3 now, and this is where you begin to add some of your products. In this particular, there are 2 parts currently on the website where you can enter products that you grow. So part 3 here is specifically looking at products that you have currently available. So these are things that you are growing this growing season, things that you have readily available. Even as you get further into the growing season, if you have an excess of something that schools may want to buy right away, again, you would put this here. When we get to part 4, you'll see that it asks about things that you may be willing to grow. So maybe you currently don't grow pumpkins or watermelons, but it's something that you would grow if you knew that you had a school who was willing to purchase those. So right now we'll focus on entering a few products currently available. Click on the button down here to add a product, and a drop-down list will open. And these are items that we currently have in the database. Again, we're still building this and can make modifications as needed. If there is something in particular that you want to add as you're registering and it's not here, you can come down here. Please click here to request to add a product. And when you click this button, it actually brings up a little form that you can complete that will send us an email, and we can get that item added to our list. So I'm going to go ahead and say that we have apples. Then you can enter here your available amount. I'm just making this up on the fly. You can fill it out as it applies to you. I'm going to say that I have 100 pounds. My pricing structure is 2 per pound. Processing available. I'm just going to say yes. Again, I don't know what things may apply here, but it's just a text field, and you can add whatever applies. If you slice them, you can make them available as apple cider. Again, just whatever may apply to you. Expiration date or the use by date would be obviously when they are expire or used by. I'm just going to go ahead. The little calendar opens up here. I'm going to say, again, just making this up, that they will expire in June. My delivery radius. Again, I suggest that you don't leave this blank right now. If you don't deliver, or just put in NA, or if you do deliver like in a 25-mile radius, just put 25 miles. Delivery rates, I'm going to put NA. Any notes, anything else you want to say about those apples, and add to notes field here. I'll just put Gala variety. And I'm going to go ahead, and if I want to add something else, I'll go back again, add product, and then we'll just go in here and we'll add some blackberries. Available amount, I'm going to say 100 bushels, 5 per pint. Our expiration dates. Let's say I'm going to have these probably good through July 31st. And my 25 miles in A and 20. Next, so here we are at part 4, and this is where it asks for willing to grow or raise. So again, these would be, if you have something that you're willing to grow, you can add it. If not, you skip on to finalize, but I'm going to go ahead and put in here, and I'm going to put in some watermelon. Let's say $5 each. And for production, we'll say that I'm just going to go in here and click on June 1st. Summer 2022. And next, finalize step. This is just a basic privacy policy here. Just agreeing that your email address that you enter here at the bottom will be what you're using for your user ID. You'll be creating your own password. We're not really collecting any sensitive information here, other than the one thing for you to know is that when you enter your contact information, it is going to be in this website. So your name and your phone number, your email address will be available on the website. It is a public site. All that information is not password protected. People, any of the schools can log on here and see that information. So that's basically what you're agreeing to. It's a lot of information here, and you're welcome to read through it. It's just standard UK information. Again, our contact information is here, the nutrition education program, our main telephone number if you have any questions about the website. The email address, again, that we enter here, this email address and the password here is going to be our login credentials for right now. Now, again, if you want to change it, there's the standard forgot my password button on here so that you can change it at any time. Don't really have any parameters on our password like you're used to seeing it. It doesn't matter how many characters it is, or it doesn't have to have uppercase, lowercase, or a special character. It's basically whatever you want. And finalize. Now I got the message, I'm successfully registered. So now when I come back here, I can right now go ahead and go up here, click log on and log in. And that's what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to log in with another farm ID, not the one that we just entered, but another one that has a lot of information in there, just so I can show you some of the stuff that it does on the back end. So that I'll go ahead and log in. Okay, so now that I've logged in, I'm brought to this page here, which is called your dashboard. And you can see up here, it's got the account information. It's got the email address I just entered. I click on that drop down button, you'll see you've got my profile, dashboard, which is this page here, manage your commodities, manage your current products. This one is actually, yes, needs to be renamed. This is really your what you're willing to grow right now. View all inquiries, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Products requested by schools. This is, you can click on this again, to look at some of the things that schools have indicated they're interested in. And here's that change your password. You'll see that we've got our home resources for producers, resources for schools, this menu again, and a search option up here. So search by commodities. And again, the web developers use the word commodities. That may or may not change, stay there. Basically what it means for this is just all the products, all the things that you are growing are considered or have available are considered commodities for this purpose. You can also search by producers and search food service directors. These are just this is just a shortcut menu. Over on the left, you'll see again some of these same features. This is just the things that you can do in the website. Again, you can search, you can manage your products or commodities, you can view available. This will allow you to see what anybody else has available right now as well. This is to view your inquiries. And we're going to take a look at this in a few minutes, but school producers, one of the features that they have available to them is they can look up the produce, and they can actually, like if they're interested in blackberries, they can go in and see who's growing blackberries, and they can actually send an inquiry to that producer. So they can go in and say, oh, I see, you're growing blackberries. I'm interested in blackberries. And it will send you a notification that they are interested in blackberries, and it will have their contact information for you to follow up with them. It also allows you to keep track of who's contacting you, whether or not you followed up with them, and the status. Again, it does not mean it's no commitment from them that they are that they are purchasing, and it's no commitment from you that you are selling. It's basically just a inquiry saying that we're interested, and it's a way to connect you. View profile. This is where you can go and click on this right here. You can go and change any of your contact information, modify your name, modify your address, modify any of your information. I'm going to go back to that dashboard again. Over here, you'll see recent inquiries. And it says here are some inquiries recently submitted by food service directories. Again, you'll see as the schools start to use this and they start to look for things, a list will pop up here of things that they have actually clicked on and looked at and things that they're interested in. And so that you can, again, just click on those and see who's interested and possibly reach out to them and let them know that you have that available. Let's look for the search. We'll go ahead and click on the search. Again, this search over here is the same as this one over here. Right now, I'm finding school food service directors. So you can see when I come up, search for schools. I'm going to click off this for a second. You'll see a list. You'll see the map here that shows all these little red bubbles here show where schools are on the map. You can see that we've got Anchorage Independent, Ashland Independent, Barron County Schools. So lots of schools have actually signed up to participate. Title, their address, their contact name, their phone, email address, and then this is just the button to map it. So this right now has everyone who signed up listed, but you can search by a keyword. Like I'm going to search I put in Barron, for example, it's going to bring up that Barron County. If you had a name, I'm going to type in Andrea. I think there's an Andrea in here. Yep, Andrea Kaiser at Bourbon County Schools here. So you can search on any keywords for any of these fields. All right, I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Let's look at, so that was, we were searching for food directors. Let's go ahead and search by for producers. You can see again, find a farmer. So producers who have created profiles on this website have expressed an interest in selling their products. Okay, so there's some additional resources here where you can find farmers. We've got the market maker link, the Kentucky Proud Producer list, and then a list to the county extension agents where people can go. Again, this is really geared towards the schools, helping them find a farmer. I'm going to go ahead and X this pop-up off. And you can see though here, in case you are looking to find a fellow farmer, you can see that here as well and do keyword search again on those farmers. We only have a handful so far. We're just now really starting the promotion of this and just now getting people to register. Here's that great farm that we entered earlier. So it's got the name, the producer's name, the contact information, my email, which again is just click on that. I don't know if you can see, I don't think you can see what's happening, but it brings up my email client so that I can send a email directly. The farm's webpage, we can click on that. I entered our planeatmove.com website, and you can see that that will link right to it. So if you, again, if you have a farm web page, you can link right to it from here. Okay, let's also search by commodities. So again, this is searching for some produce, and the schools, when they log in, you know, will likely do this. This will be a feature technically for them. Right now it's showing everything that is currently available. It's based on the dates, based on the dates that something, when the producer adds their products, they put that date in there about when it will expire or if it's currently available, and that's what makes it show up here. So we can see these blackberries. We just go here to category, and the produce is categorized by dairy. You can sort by dairy, fruit, miscellaneous, protein, vegetables. You can search by subcategory, which is basically the takes us down to the list level of the produce. I'm going to go ahead and click. I know we entered apples, so I'm like, apples should be in here, but it's not showing up. Let's apply the filter and see if we get any apples. And yes, there are some actual apples in here. We have apples from Farm A. Farm A has two types of apples, one for $2 and one for $5. And Farm B has apples in here available for $5. Okay. You can search for GAP certified. If you just want to filter on anybody who's GAP certified, you just click on this, apply your filter. Liability, if you want to find out, you just want produce that where the farm has liability insurance, you can apply that filter. If you want to search just by one particular farm, you can do that. We're going to search on farm B and apply that filter. And we should see everything then that farm B has available: blackberries, blueberries, broccoli, and apples. Okay, so those are some ways of doing the search. I'm going to go back up to our dashboard again, and I'm going to click on Manage Our Commodities, and this will show you where you can actually make changes to things that you entered when you were setting up your produce. So you can come in here, you've got your blackberries. You can, if you want to change your amount or change your available dates, you can do that here. You can click on edit. It's going to bring up another menu here that allows you to go ahead and add that supposed to be variety. The zip code, the available start and end dates, your size or count here, your estimated amount. If you have a minimum purchase, you can add that here. If you do have a form or for sliced, chopped, whole, frozen, or options here. And again, we will continue to add features to the website as needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and change my available date. Like, I'm not gonna have these available on July 1st now, so I'm gonna say they're really gonna be available probably about July the 15th, and I can submit and it will update that. If you want to add more products, you know, if you just entered a couple when you were creating your profile, you want to add more, you can do that here. Add available commodity. And again, this menu just has a few more options than were available to you when you're doing it at registration time. So I'm going to go ahead and add some broccoli here. We'll add my zip code, my available dates. They're going to be available in June, and they will be good through, I'm going to say for 1 month. Whole. Size, I'm just going to say various, estimated per pound. I have no idea, so I'm just going to say 2 per pound. Minimum purchase, none, and submit. And then it's added to that broccoli as my commodity, and that will now show up in the search. Let's look at to view our inquiries. Commodity inquiries. Okay, I don't have any for this farmer. I don't have any. I thought I had one for this farmer, but I guess I don't. What would show up here is if a school, for example, was interested in our blackberries, then they clicked on the blackberries, they can actually send us a message through the website here. It would show up here, the date and time that they submitted that, what it is, so it'll be blackberries. They would be able to say, I'm interested in your thorny blackberries. They will provide their contact information, and then you will see here what your status is, if you have responded or not. Let me go in and I'm going to log in as another account real quick just to see if we see one. All right, so this is another farm, Farm B. Let's go view all our inquiries here for Farm B. Yes, you can see that we have commodity inquiries on December the 1st. Someone was interested in our apples. I have not, there's no details here, not responded, but on this button here, I'm going to click on this little pencil here and say edit. And now you can see the details of the inquiry. You can see that LaRue County, Stephanie Utley, and there's her contact information, her phone or email. She's interested in our apples. And so she's looking for apples at $5 per pound, and she needs them December 23rd. So what you can do now is you can actually, if you're, would you be interested in accommodating this buyer? You can click down here, yes, I am interested, and you can put a little message here saying, you know, you can type it in, hi, this is Michelle with Great Farm. I would like to provide apples. And then you can say, you know, please contact me, provide your information, or I'll contact you, whatever the message you want to send them is. And then you would send the response right here. And it would actually send them, then an actual email would go to them. And they wouldn't see that you had responded, and they can come back into the website and actually look through the details. And the same thing would have happened to you. When a school sends you an inquiry, it shows up here in the website, but you're also going to get an email alerting you that you have something in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back on this for now. So that's a little bit about the inquiries. Again, this is just a way to connect the schools and the farmers. One more thing I'm going to show per products requested by schools. This one shows, okay, so Fairview Independent School is interested in broccoli, and it shows up here, there's immediate and scheduled. So this is where that currently available products kind of comes into play. If you've got something, they're looking for these immediately. So this button over here for scheduled, you can look at things that they want scheduled deliveries of, so they may want them again and again. So here's some, like Rocker School is interested in blackberries. They need 150, and you can contact Elfie, and she may want this repeating. You can see that down here from my sample school. I've put sample school is wanting blackberries delivered 100 pounds on June the 1st. And then sample school is wanting in May 200 pounds of apples. They want apples again in July, and they want apples in June. So it looks like they want apples scheduled and delivered monthly for a short period of time. And again, so this is just, it's not a commitment, it's just showing that that's something that they're interested in, so that you can contact this person and let them know if you're willing or able to meet that request. So I think that's all I wanted to show you right now. So again, you can come back here, change your profile, change your dashboard, manage your commodities. Let's look at this real quick, because when I changed farmers, I did see some recent inquiries here. So you can see that LaRue County is looking for apples, and you can actually, again, give the click on the give this response, and this is just making that, replying to that inquiry. Okay, so I think that concludes the tour of the hub. Let's see if I can get back to the slideshow here. And I will just say thanks again on behalf of Jan and Jackie and myself. Thank you for allowing us to be here with you. And we do hope that you got a little something out of the tour of the site today. And we encourage you to register. And if you have any questions for us, or if you need any assistance in setting up your profile, please give us a call. Again, my name is Michelle, and I believe our contact information is here on the next slide. We've got contact information for Jan, Jackie, and myself. And again, we thank you for allowing us to be here today. And I think that concludes the session. We will be taking questions in the chat. So we'll be watching for those. And thank you.